Hello, you guys. I am throwing together a little bit of some ideas for you on this video. I hope they'll make sense and I hope they'll be helpful. What I wanted to do was see if we could get to where we are able to have everybody putting memories together on one version of your dad. And so what I did was I went to your mom's account on Family Search. And if you have one, you'll just need to sign in. And if you don't have one, you'll need to create an account. But once you do that, then what I want you to do is to come over to this Family Tree tab. When you click it, this tree will come up. Go ahead and click the tree. And what you'll get is a view of your family ancestors going back from you, not from your mom, since I'm in her account right now. But you would be one more, and she would be up in this position here. You can change these views by clicking this down arrow, and you could see the landscape view, which is more traditional, and the descendancy view, which is useful in some other ways that I won't have time to talk about right now. But what I wanted to do with you is to show you some things that while you're all together and you're discussing memories and you're pulling out pictures and various things, some ideas of what you could do on Family Search. The first thing that you're going to want to do is to open up your version of your dad. And when I say your version of your dad, the reason that you all have a different version is because the church, in order to protect privacy and to keep themselves from being sued, they can't let living people be seen. And so what you're going to have to do, you notice when I hover over your dad, I can click and it opens up this box about him. And then if I were to do a right click here and open link in a new tab, I have what's called his person page come up. And this is where you make all the changes to him. Now, I'll be honest, I've gone in and made a few changes already. I added a source. I went to Ancestry and I found this marriage record for him and your mom, and I added that. And then I added the death place here. Your ward clerk was on the ball because there was already a death date in here. I also, as I recall, no, I didn't. This marriage date that's in here, you'll see. Oh, there's several of them. That's the reason that that we have that. And this is probably the license date, and this is the marriage date. So what we'll want to do is get rid of these three. I'll do that. I won't take the time to do it right now with you, but we'll have this one remain. That's correct, and then we'll get rid of the other three that are confusing. But at any rate, what I wanted to show you are some things that you might engage in this week to retain information and to just record it in a long-term way. One thing that's kind of nice is this life sketch, and if any of you wanted to collaborate or individually write a life sketch and then maybe have your mom read it over and fill in details or whatever, you could make a 1 to 2 page life sketch and just add it here. It can just be a Word document that you cut and paste into this spot. Then what I would want to point out to you is this Memories tab. When you go to the Memories tab, there are a lot of things that you can add, and you notice that we've only got 3 pictures. I added these 2 pictures. I went and found Mesa High yearbooks, and these were the 1953 and 1954 pictures for him, and so I added those 2. This was the one that was already here. So if you want to start adding pictures, you can either have them on your computer and then just click this upload photo, and when you click that, then it'll let you go to wherever you keep your pictures. So if I were going to do it, I'd click pictures and I would click Kivett Living Pictures, and then I've got, like if I were going to put something about Kellen in there, I've got all these pictures, and so I could just pick one, that picture, and then I could click open, and that picture would then come here, and it would be automatically tagged to the person that I'm adding it into, because I'm doing it from their person page. There's up here under this memories, you see this gallery. That's where, if you're posting from a application called Family Search Tree that I'm going to show you in a minute, that's where they'll go. And so when you have the gallery, they get posted up here, and then at that point you have to take and click on it, and when you click on it, it'll open up, and you're then able to put a title in, and you're able to tag it to the individual. And once you do that, then you can go ahead and have it's tied to specific people. So if you have multiple people in the photo, you could tag it to 4 or 5 people over here, and that picture would be on all of their person pages in Family Search. So I wanted to make you aware of that. And let's see, I want to get back to your dad's person page. And so photos, we should get 50 or 60 or 100 up here. I'm not saying every photo that you have, but some that you love and enjoy, post them up here, title them, make sure they're tagged to him so that they'll appear on this little spot. And that'll be a great and wonderful thing for people to look at. Now, some other things that you can add documents here. If there's a newspaper article you've got, or if you wanted to, whatever you wanted to put here, even when after the funeral, if you wanted to put a copy of the funeral program, you could put that here. Those are, lots of things like that that would be very helpful to. Sometimes these things are things that you'll never find on the internet, and you'll never find on Ancestry or Family Search, but they are sources, and so we can make a source out of a document here onto their person page. These last two are the two that are really fun. Stories. You can create a story and you can add a picture to it. And so if you're, as you guys are talking, if you have funny stories, spiritual stories, whatever, you can just click this create a story, and then you can upload a photo with it. And then you can start, you can title your story, and then you can type the story in here. And you'll find that, there's some wonderful things that you can put in there, but this week, I think particularly, you'll be thinking that way, and so it's worth trying to retain those rather than orally say them to one another but not getting around to recording them. So I'm hoping that you can find a way to take some time to store these on Family Search. Most of the other places, even Facebook and those kinds of places, they aren't really the kind of vehicle that a whole bunch of people are going to be able to think of your dad and go there and get the kinds of things that this is going to organize and make available. Now, the one that I love and almost nobody has done are these audio files. If you want to upload an audio, or you want to select it from the gallery, and I'll show you how to make one that is automatically deposited to the gallery. These are cool things. So like, and I would suggest that you do this with both your mom about her parents and Moroni's parents, and also that you say, okay, Mom, tell us how you and Dad met, fell in love, and got married, and have her just talk through that story rather than having it be a written story or a life sketch or a life history or something like that. To have in your mom's voice some great stories. Tell about the jobs your dad had. Tell about places you've lived throughout your life. And you don't have to have this be extensive and every single thing that happened in life is recorded here, but to have your mom's voice sharing some of these things will be really special. And then the other thing, and this is what, it would have been nice if we could have gotten your dad to do this several years ago, would be tell us about your parents. Tell us, give a oral overview of your mom's life, of your dad's life. And, this will but we didn't, and nobody could have, and nobody could have anticipated. But you can see we don't want to lose people without trying to first retain their living memories. And so this is a great place for us to get some of those things recorded. And I'm thinking particularly of your mom, but you guys as well. If you have special stories that you would like to put in your voice rather than in writing, you could put that here. So these are some opportunities that I wanted to make you aware of. Now, what we've got to do that I've got to, so before you start posting pictures and stories and everything, each one of you, when you go on your tree and you open your dad's person page, you need to look at this number right here. And if your number is different than this number, then what I want you to do is I want you to come to, well, let's say that you're on yours and your number is different. Then I want you to write down this number that is your mom's version of Moroni. I want you to write that number down, and then I want you to come down here, and on the right side, I want you to do this merge by ID. And so you're going to click that, and then you're going to type in that number that you wrote out of your mom's version of your dad. You'll type that in here, and then this blue continue will open up. You'll click continue, and you'll have side by side two versions of Moroni McElhaney. The one on the left will be the one that is yours. The one on the right will be this one that is the one we're wanting to retain. At the very top of the page, there will be a thing called switch positions. And I think you probably ought to go ahead and click that switch positions so that the Moroni McElhaney with this number is on the left side and your version is on the right side. Then what you want to do is you just want to go down the page on the, and I'm sorry that I am not illustrating a merge right now, but you'll want to go down the page and see if there's any information you have in your version that isn't had in this version. I don't suspect there will be. And if there are sources or memories, they'll come across when you do the merge. But what we're wanting to do is get all of you guys functioning with the same version of your dad, so that when we make changes, they're not just made on your person. Oh, one other thing that you're going to need to do before you are able to merge this is you're going to have to come down here to death, and you're going to have to click edit, and you're going to have to put deceased and put in the death date, because right now he's marked living on yours, and you can't merge a living person and a deceased person. So first you're going to get your version deceased, then you're going to come down and merge by ID your version with this number, and then this is the number we want to retain. So make sure that this is the number on the left side, and merge your side. Like I said, as you scroll down the page, if you have anything that that the other side doesn't have, you'll just click add, and it'll swing across and become part of this version. Then at the bottom, it will say, once you're done looking at all the relationships and everything, it will say continue merge. You'll click continue merge. It'll have a little screen that will say, what's your reason for merging? And you'll say same name, birth, death, and spouse, or something like that. And then you'll click merge. And then those two people will become one, and your person will be the same person as is in your mom's family tree. And then once we get all of you with the same version, then as you guys start doing these memories, you'll start see each one, when somebody else adds a picture, you'll see that picture on your version. Now, if you didn't have the same version, somebody could add a picture on that one, but you don't see it because your version doesn't have it on there. So hopefully that makes sense what I've said there with that. It seemed like there was one other thing I just wanted to real quickly point something out. I was going to add this 1940 census because it's these record hints are really cool. They're 97% likely that they're going to be the person, and the church's search engine went out and searched the billions of records of family search, and they find and just position here great sources for you. So this will be when your dad is 4 years old, living in the house of Arthur, Della, and then and so if you came down here and you look, there's Arthur, Della, Charles. But what I wanted to show you was there's a couple of names here. Seba is the one I remember, and maybe it was Edna, Seba and Edna. Anyway, I could not find a Seba and Edna for anything in here, and I'm wondering if there's two missing sisters because they were living in the home in 1940 and were listed as daughters. Now, there's the H and the P, and they're born in 1924 and 26. And so you come down here and you look. It could be that Leah P is Edna P. I don't know, you know, and but I don't think Seba at least is accounted for. At any rate, when you go to attach this source, what you end up having happen is you're able to see, you'll be able to attach the source to your dad. Then you come down here and you see your person has a couple that they didn't have listed, but you can understand they're probably moved out of the house by the time 1940 rolled around. But then this one is interesting. Edna, we need to add, and I don't know for sure. Anyway, I'm getting into the weeds here, but I just wanted to say we may not have all of his brothers and sisters exactly accurate, and that 1940 census may be able to help us determine that. I probably shouldn't have spent as much time on that and gone off on it. But let's say now that you have your version of your dad having this number, and that you now want to add some memories. Let me show you some things you can do now. What you do, I'm going to run this through with these pictures. The first thing you're going to do is, boy, I think I'm sorry, I got to get to the beginning of these pictures. You're going to go to your app store, and I don't know whether you guys are Android or Mac people, phones mostly or not, but so mine's a Mac or an iPhone, and so my app store, I go ahead and I type into the search engine family search tree. And you don't want this first one. I'm not saying you don't want it. I don't even know what that product is, but this is the one you want with this icon right here. And I already have it, so mine says open, but yours would say get or whatever. It's free. Get that, add it to your phone, and then once you add it to your phone, you're going to have to sign in so that this little app is connected to your actual account. Then we're going to, it'll be on your phone someplace where, you know, I've got it stored in my church file. You can have it without any file or whatever, but this is what it's going to look like. There's another app called Memories, but Memories is also nestled within this, so this is the only one you really need. So once you come and you've got it on and you've signed in so that it automatically goes to your person page and to your account in Family Search, then what I want you to understand is you'll see this screen where you'll be here, you know, you've got your pedigree, and you'll be able to have, you'll be able to see your family. But I don't use the phone app much for looking at and doing work in Family Tree. It's just not as wieldy for me as doing my computer. So what I want to do for the phone app is I want to come down here to these three dots. Now again, if you guys are Androids, I think your dots are going to be up here. But so I click the more, you'll just have to find your dots and click more. And then this is what you'll see. A new screen will come up, and it's got other options of things you can do. This relatives around me is kind of fun, and but this is the one I want you to click, Memories. When you click Memories, then this screen comes up, and you are able to see what's in your gallery waiting to be attached to different people. And you're able to also add new memories. And so this plus button is the is the place where you're going to add pictures and stories and audio files. And so this is what it looks like when you click the plus button. You've got all these different options. I guess I would add a document. Let's say that your mom and dad had a birth certificate, a birth certificate for your dad, and you wanted to add that. You could just click Add Document, and then you could take a picture of the birth certificate and send it up there and have it become a document. It's probably better in documents than in pictures. You could do a story from here. Let's say you're just, as you guys are talking, you remember a story, and you want to take a picture of Russell, who's telling that story, and then once you take that picture, then you'll be able to write it on there, and it'll go ahead and post up on Family Search for you. But these are the two that I particularly like, the record audio and add photo. So if you were to click record audio, it would open up a screen like this, and it would have some prompt questions. Like you might ask your mom, what's your most memorable moment from your childhood? What do you remember about the place where you grew up? Things like that. Or you can come up with your own questions. And I think, you get 15 minutes for each one of these audios. I like saying, not just saying, how did you meet your spouse? I like saying, how did you meet, fall in love, and get married? And have the one spouse give an overview of everything that happened, and it's just a neat little story then. So you would click Begin Recording, and when you click Begin Recording, you then have this appear, and you come up and just click Start, and once you click Start, then it's going, and it will go until you click Pause. And now you can pause it, talk for a minute, and say, whatever you want, or I need a drink of water, or whatever. Or you can come down and click Done. And when you click Done, then it will let you save the audio recording and put a title to it. And so it might be Russell and Max, Great Adventure, getting lost in Payson, or whatever, and then you click OK, and then you're going to have it appear here. So you see, I did a practice one, 11 seconds long. I'm going to delete this one, obviously, but it's waiting there. And then all I would have to do, I don't think it's as easy to do it on your phone. So once I get it added onto this, then I go on my computer, and I'll show you that in just a quick second about doing it on your computer. But that's how to add a audio file. If you were to want to add a photo, then you'd click Add Photo, and it would come up with pictures you've got in your camera. Or this one is your live camera. And so you could take, let's say that you wanted to add, you wanted to do something on your mom's person page. And so you wanted to take a live picture of her. You'd take that picture, and then it would load up onto the gallery on Family Search. And then you'd be able to go there, tag it, title it, and have it be one of the pictures in her thing. So, and then the other thing that you could do is with this camera, I've done this a whole bunch, where it's just hard to get all these pictures scanned, or my mom had put in some pictures that were inside of an album, and I was going to have to unglue them and tear them apart and then figure out how to get them back together. And so I just used my camera to take a picture of a picture. And I was surprised how it didn't lose much. Our cameras are so good anymore that taking a picture of a picture is very effective. And so then once you do that and take that picture, oh, sorry, I thought I had another one. Then you notice right here is a little green check mark. You could, you'll say, that's the one, that's the picture that I want. You'd click it, and then you would click upload here, and then it would upload. So I don't know if that's helpful or if it was pretty confusing, but I could see you guys be going through a lot of pictures this week, and I think it'd be a great thing if one of you got good at using this Memories app and taking pictures of pictures that are really cool, and putting them up on Family Search, tagging them, and starting to fill up your dad's uh, person page. So I'm going to get rid of this. Now, I said if you were to go to your gallery, and I should have had a picture loaded so I could show you. In fact, I can do it real quick. I'm going to, well, I don't want to do it on your dad's one, so I won't. But I'm going to click this Memories tab, and then oh, I didn't want Overview. I want Gallery. I'm going to go to Gallery. Now, I have in mine, I have different folders that I make, and then I try to keep this area clean, meaning so I would drag this over and put it in an album, you know. And so I've got like Monica, Kellen, Brittany, all these guys, and then I just drag their picture once I've tagged it. But you know, if you wanted to add a memory, you can do it right here from the gallery. But then it's not automatically tagged like it is if you do it from the person page. But let's say that you took several pictures and they're all here. Now, what you'll notice is that there's going to be a red check mark in them, and that's trying to highlight you to they aren't titled and they aren't tagged. And so when you see that, I don't remember if it's check mark or exclamation point or whatever, but when you see it, all you're going to want to do is just click on it, and then when it opens up, you're going to then title it and tag it, and you know you've got to. I could go into more detail, but this is already getting too long, and I apologize for that. I don't know if this is a chaotic overview or if it inspires you in some ways, but I was hoping that maybe I'd be able to get you all working on the same version of Moroni and then starting to load some cool stuff up this week. Interview your mom. If one of you gets good at doing audio files and one of you gets good at doing pictures, and you guys started pouring those onto your dad's person page, that would be a neat thing to be able to share, and I think it would be much more permanent than, you know, some of the. I mean, I think it's wonderful if you have a table with pictures of him or other kinds of things like that, but that's more temporary. And if you take pictures of those pictures you have on that table and put them here on his person page, it'll be permanent. So I wanted to make you aware of that. I'll stop now. And if you have questions, let me know. The last thing that I'll say is I'm going to try to call each one of you up. And I'm going to ask you, you don't have to do very long, but like for a minute or two, to tell me something that's come to your mind as you've been thinking about your dad, about why you love and respect him so much. I was talking to Steve, and he had a, he had a nice insight about a characteristic of your dad that is just, you know, him, and it's not a lot of other people. And I loved what he had to say. And so I want to call Steve up and say, okay, Steve, tell me about what you think is uniquely wonderful about your dad, what you respect, you know, and then he's going to tell me, and I'm going to record it on my phone, and then I'm going to put it into one of these audio files, and I'm going to try to have all of you kids telling what you love about your dad, what you respect about your dad, and have it be in a, you know, less than 15-minute audio, and then I'll post that onto one of the audios on your dad's person page. So if you hear me calling, that's what I'm going to try to do, is pick your brain about that. Please let me know if you have any questions. I hope this is helpful, and maybe it'll make for you to be able to retain some of the great things that you're talking about and seeing this week. Just one other thing I realized I didn't make very clear. I suspect there are some of you that are not going to have a tree. It'll just be you all alone because you haven't yet connected to your deceased ancestors. And so I just wanted to say, when you go on to your person page, when you open up your name and open up your person page, you can then right here add a parent. And when you do that, this will open up. Now, again, if the person is deceased, go and find from your mom's tree their ID number. And so if you do it by ID, now you're not going to stand any risk of creating a duplicate. You're just going to put in that existing ID number, and then you'll, once you put in a deceased person, then all of their ancestors will come with them, and you'll fill your tree up surprisingly quickly. If there's for instance, since your mom's still alive, and if it's just you and you don't have anybody else here, you then would have to add a parent, and so let's say you've got your dad, then you would have to put in your mom's name, make it her maiden name, make it female, make it living, put in a birth date, and then click next, and you'd end up creating a new person. Obviously, you're creating another version of your mom, but then once your mom's there, you can open up her person page and add her parents, and you can use their numbers and be able to again attach to deceased people, and the whole tree will fill up for you. I hope that makes sense, what I'm saying there, but just in case there's a few of you that don't have anything done much on your tree, that's how it'll get you started and get your tree full.